All right, guys, kneel. Kneel. I want to be able to see everybody. You good in there, guys? You hear me?
Sure. Can you move just a little bit to your left? Thank you.
Let's make sure everybody's in. Everybody's in? All my coaches here? Guys, my name is Mark Soto. I'm the executive director of the Honor Bowl. And the reason why we do this, we come to your locker rooms and we tell you the story of the Honor Bowl because we want you guys to feel it. We want you guys to know why you've been invited to come to the best high school football showcase in America. This is it, right? And I want to tell you guys why we do this. I'm a football coach just like this coach, just like these coaches back here. When 9/11 happened, I was sitting in a room with my two boys, and we saw those towers get hit. My boys were in 8th grade, and they were just sitting there, and they were in awe, and they would say, Dad, we're going to go fight. We're going to go fight, Dad. I said, no, you're not. Because you're in 8th grade, you guys aren't going anywhere. We're going to go fight. 4 years passed, they played football for me. Seniors in high school, your ages, guys. And I get recruiters showing up at my house. We were in the middle of the war. I knew my boys were going to see death. I knew they were going to see everything that they did see. I tried everything I could to stop them. It didn't work. They went off to war. One became one of the best snipers in the nation. He called him a top gun. One of the best snipers. Another one became a Marine rifleman. And I'm going to tell you his story because that's what leads into the Honor Bowl. After multiple deployments in 2010, my Marine son was being sent to Afghanistan. Now what my wife and I would do is we would go to Camp Pendleton and we would throw a party for them. We'd grab a keg of beer, we'd get all the Marines together, and we'd go, guys, go get some. Right? And they were always ready to get some. So they go. Oh, wait, before he goes, he takes me aside because he never told me where he was going. He puts his arm around me. He goes, Dad, let's take a walk. So we take a walk. Now, I thought it was weird because we were leaving the party where all his friends were there. He goes, Dad, let's go take a walk. Puts his arm around me. We take a walk. He goes, Dad, I want you to know where we're going. We're going to this area in Afghanistan called Sing. Do yourself a favor. Don't Google it. What do you think I did, guys? Immediately Googled it. I get my phone out, I'm Googling it, and I learned that the British Royal Marines had habitated this area. In over a 1 year span, they had lost over a 1 year span, they lost 100 men. And almost 1,000 were wounded by losing their legs. This is where my son was going. I was crying. I can't believe you're going here. I can't believe you're doing that. He goes, Dad, we're going and we're ready to go get some. Let me tell you about where they were going, this area of Singin. This area of Singin is a very lush area. This is where the Taliban grow their opium, they grow their marijuana to fuel their trade of terrorism. My son said when they were landing in their fob, the relatively safely of the fob, right, they heard pinging coming off the helicopter. As they were landing, they were being shot at. And he said he looked out the window and they were surrounded by white flags. Now, when we think of white flags, what do we think of? Surrender, right? Not to the Taliban. The Taliban would put these white flags on the ground and in black spray paint would spray paint, death to the Americans, death to the infidels. That's you and I. They load up, and before you know it, the first patrol goes out. First patrol leaves base, and as they're driving out, they get around a mile away, and they hear this boom! Oh my God, what happened to our patrol? We just heard this boom. It was so loud that it shook them at their fob. They hear that boom. They're radioing, guys, you okay? Guys, you okay? No answer. So the Marines load up, they leave that base, and they go. They arrive on the scene. And when they arrived, they found that patrol, the first Humvee, hit a bomb. The bomb was so big that it lifted the Humvee off the ground, twisted it like a corkscrew, and 4 Marines were instantly killed. I'm at home. This is where it gets weird, guys. I'm at home, and I get a phone call from a friend of mine up the street. He says, Coach, your son's a Marine, right? I go, yeah, he's a Marine. He goes, Coach, some Marines just showed up at our neighbor's house, and something happened to their son, because I heard screaming and I heard crying. Something's wrong, Coach. We learned that their son was killed, and that was the Marines coming to give them a knock on the door. I'm telling you, I found out who the parents were, and I called them. I said, is there anything I could do to help you? My son's there too. Was there anything I could do? They said, will you help us? We're going to get our son's body. Will you help us with the media? Will you do something? I said, I'd be honored. And then they come home with their son's body over a flag draped coffin. And they asked me to eulogize their son. Here's the crazy thing, guys. Their son played football for me. Their son played football for me. They asked me to eulogize their son, and I was honored to do it. I heard taps. I heard the 21 guns. I saw his body get lowered into the ground. A few days later, I get a call from my son in Afghanistan. Dad, he's cracking because you're on the satellite phone. Dad, I gotta ask you something. I said, son, are you okay? He goes, listen, my colonel tells me that a coach eulogized Victor Dew. Was that you? Was that you, Dad? I know, I'm crying. I cry every time I tell this story. And I said, yes, that was me. That was me, son. He tells me, Dad, I was there. I cut him off the vehicle. As a football coach, I had to do something to save these guys that were coming home with no legs. They were coming over flag draped coffins. They were coming back changed for the rest of their lives. And that's when we created the Honor Bowl, the best high school football showcase in America. Guys, through the spirit of your athleticism, through the fans coming here and buying a ticket, for you guys going out there and laying it on the line, you are giving back. It's not just a football game to us, guys. And we felt you needed to hear this story. Now, there's someone I want you to meet. She's going to talk briefly. She's Victor Dew's mom. Let's give it up for Patty Schumacher.
Hi, just to let you know, first off, thank you for coming all the way from Utah to play in the Honor Bowl. We are deeply honored that you decided to come. My son did play football for Coach, and that was one of his highlights of high school. The biggest thing for me with football and for him was that he wanted to be part of a great organization, the camaraderie. The man on the left and the man on the right, that was his thing. He wanted to protect. Same thing with the Marines. You have honor, courage, and commitment. Victor was a second-degree black belt. So there's a lot of honor and courage and commitment in that when you're doing that for years upon end. But as much as I want to tell you more about Victor and more about the Marines, I really have to deflect to someone else who's absolutely amazing in explaining what he does and has a wonderful, I don't want to call it a story, but his life and a life lesson that he wants to share with you. I'm proud to be Victor's mom. I would never say not to go into service to him. I'm proud of the choice that he made. I'm glad that you're here. Do I want my son here? Absolutely. But because of what happened and our events of that deployment, we've created the Honor Group and the Honor Bowl. And because of that, their legacy gets to live on through you playing, and what you're gonna learn here today. Thank you.
All right, good morning. I'm going to say it again. It's a tremendous opportunity and honored and humbled to stand in front of you, and I'm going to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. You're gonna see the 25 Marines that didn't make it home that deployment. 25 of my brothers, we deployed with 1,000. We came back minus 25, October 2010. Again, my name is Gunnery Sergeant Freddie Torres. I was born and raised in Tucson, Arizona. I was an athlete just like you throughout high school, and I decided to join the Marine Corps in 2006. Once I joined, I knew that was it. That was my life. I loved it. I loved the brotherhood, the camaraderie, everything that I did. I loved it, so I continued to serve. So I'm going to fast forward to 2010, that deployment where Lance Corporal Victor Dew was killed in action on October 13, 2010, along with 3 other Marines. I'm going to fast forward to December, and I'm going to share a story with you that when you're facing challenges, adversity, or roadblock, hopefully this story helps you get through it a little bit. December 30th, 2010, there was a squad of Marines out on patrol out in Afghanistan. There was about 20 of them out. Now, I'm going to help you paint the picture a little bit. If you've ever watched the movie Lone Survivor with Marcus Luttrell, they're at the top of the mountain overseeing the village. The village, mud hut terrain, dirt roads, that's what Afghanistan sailing looked like in the Helmand province. So this patrol was out for about 4 hours, gathering information, gathering intel, talking to the local nationals when they were making their way back to the patrol base, into the PB is what they called it. On the way in, the back of the squad, one of the younger Marines stepped on an IED, an improvised explosive device, a roadside bomb. Luckily, that bomb didn't go off all the way. Only a couple pounds of it went off. It shattered his foot, broke his ankle, got him in a truck, got him in a helicopter, got him stateside, recovered well. Well, because the rest of that bomb didn't go off, that squad was still responsible to go out there and get rid of the explosives that didn't go off. So 4 Marines went back out. They laid a stick of demolition down. They were about to blow it, because if not, the Taliban would pick it back up and use it again. So they went back out there, a team of 4. As they were laying the stick of C4 down, they were about to pull, and from the east, the Taliban engages and starts firing at those Marines. 3 Marines go that direction, go behind the wall. The squad leader, points to the Taliban and starts firing in that direction, running towards them. He ran to that direction because there was a little ditch and a wall waist high where he was going to get behind, and he was going to start suppressing the Taliban back. Once he got to this little ditch, he fell on his back, tried to get back up, and he looked down at his uniform, and he was covered in red. He realized he had been shot twice. From his left side, from the west, here comes one of the Marines that had ran the opposite direction, firing at the Taliban and running towards his buddy, the one that had been shot twice. He gets there, he gets his seatbelt cutter scissors off, rips his uniform off, and as soon as he rips it off, there's blood gushing out, coming out. From more artery had been hit. So he starts applying gauze, applies a tourniquet, calls the squad that's inside the PB for help to get a stretcher out so they can get him out. And they do so. A couple of minutes come out, they put him on a stretcher. He calls over the radio on the count of 3, we're picking him up and we're moving, everyone suppressed. Fire back at the enemy. And he does. Count of 3, they pick him up, everyone suppresses. They're moving him the last 50 meters back inside the patrol base. When the one that was carried out reaches his hands over, looks over to his left, and his best friend is carrying him out, and he says these last words to him. Tell my mom I love her, and tell my boys I'm sorry. The last words he said on the battlefield, tell my mom I love her, and tell my boys I'm sorry. Get him in a truck, get him in a helicopter, get him stateside to California where he recovered. Now let me tell you the second half of that story where you can apply it to your life. When that Marine was stuck in San Diego bedside for a couple of months, the doctors told him, your leg's getting amputated, there's too much nerve damage, we can't do anything about it. By the way, you're getting medically retired because you're never going to be able to run or be able to walk the same way again. That was January 2011. That Marine took a different approach and chose a different challenge. He accepted the challenge that by April, when that battalion, that squad got back to America, that he was going to be at the bottom of that staircase, ready to receive and hug that squad that saved his life. And I'll tell you right now, April 15th, when that plane landed at March Air Force Base down in Southern California, and the stairs came down, I was standing at the bottom of that staircase, ready to receive my squad and hug every single one of them. When the doctors told me that my leg was going away, that I'm getting medically retired, and that I'm never going to be able to walk and run the same way again. My times improved. I record times within my runs after that. But I could have chose the easy way. I could have got my leg amputated. I could have accepted what the doctors were telling me. And that wasn't the case. And I share that story with you not to put myself up here, but to tell you some of you guys have faced adversity in your life. Some of you guys have faced injuries. Some of you guys have faced hits. Some of you guys have faced fill in the blank. Where somebody told you you can't, you won't succeed. And you got to look them in the eye, and either you're going to accept failure or fail at something, get your own back up, dust off, learn from it, and do great things from it. Now I'll close out with saying, they used to call this a warrior case study in the Marine Corps. My story was a warrior case study. Till about a year ago, I realized, what was I thinking? It wasn't luck, it wasn't coincidence. It wasn't that I trained my squad so dang well that they saved my life. It was God that kept me alive, that kept me around for a purpose to come out and still be able to share my story to those that are facing challenges, that are facing adversity, so they can overcome the similar or same events. So I come to you today, thank you for honoring those Marines that have gone before us, even before me, and the 25 brothers that didn't make it home, that deployment. It's a true honor and privilege to stand in front of you today. God bless and good luck out there. Thank you.
Gunny Freddie Torres! All right, guys. Some housekeeping. Coach, this is a challenge coin. It's an Honor Bowl challenge coin. Your captains will see this flip today. It's a collector's item. I want to hand that to you, Coach. That is yours. Coach, who is the man that's going to have the honor of carrying the flag through the tunnel today?
Okay, today we've chosen someone who has a history of military and their families, Jason Fordham. Jason, you're carrying the flag for us today.
Where's Jason? Where's Jason? All right, so this is what's going to happen. When we get to announce you through the tunnel, you guys are all going to gather around him in the back. Usually teams like to 2 up or 3 up, so it makes it nice so you guys get in the tunnel. I'm going to hand you the flag. Buddy, when you get into that tunnel and you lead that team through, there's going to be media here, all that. Hype it up. Wave that flag proudly, right? You're in America, man. Enjoy the moment. This is for you and your team. So really have a good time with it. You got it, buddy? All right, it's an honor. It's an honor, my friend. After the game, when you guys are doing 50-yard line handshakes, we are going to give out, one of you is going to get the character award winner, and one of you is going to be an MVP winner. The character award winner is chosen by the coach. The MVP winner is chosen by the media that is here, right? We will have you guys knee up, right? And we'll give out those awards. And then at the end of that, we'll be giving this coach the 2023 Honor Bowl championship, right? Let's go. Coach, these are decals. Thank you. We ask you to wear these on the back of your helmets. Every athlete will get one. Okay. Wear them throughout the year. There's a history to those. The ones that wear those go deep into the playoffs. And we'll know that's going to be your team. All right? All right? All right. At the end of the awards, I want the captains and the MVPs and the coach to go sign the game balls, and the coaches will sign the helmets. All right? Super simple. Don't forget. All right? We really need you guys to do that. Let's get in here. Hands up. Hands up. Ooh. Hands up. Hands up. Freddie, get in here, Freddie. All right, the 3-5 Marines have a saying, and that's get some. When I say 3-5, you say get some. 3-5! Get some! Get some! Get some! Get some!
Let's go, boys. Okay, get yourselves ready. I got kickers heading out, quarterbacks heading out, returners heading out, centers heading out.
There's doors.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is our first time in the Honor Bowl. Provo, let's give it up for the Provo Bulldogs! coaches, and community about the needs of our military veterans. This afternoon was the start of the Provo High School Youth. When a serviceman or woman is lost in the battlefield, it becomes customary to illuminate their right rifle, pointing downward along with their boots and helmet. Surviving members of the squad gather around and memorialize their fallen comrades. Some of the troops will pray, others might recall personal stories, but make no mistake, this is a ceremony that is taken very seriously. Why? Because every soldier knows the next ceremony might be for them. When a rifle is downward into the ground, it is a memorial of soldiers in action. It also signals a time for prayer, a breaking action to pay tribute to our friend and hero. Placing the rifles, gunning Sergeant Freddie Torres, drill instructor at Marine Corps Recruiting Depot, San Diego. Gunning Sergeant Torres, a Purple Heart recipient, was wounded in action in the Helmand Province, Afghanistan, 2010. Combat boots represents the final touch of the soldier's last battle. Placing the boots are Leslie Way, President Rolling Hills Star Bombs, also, and Debbie Khan Valin, President Sacramento Star Bombs, Sacramento. The helmet is also a symbol of this great sacrifice, and the helmet is being placed by Gold Star Dad, Tom Schumacher, honoring his son, Lance Corporal Victor 20 of Granite Bay, California. And finally, the dog tags identify the soldier's name so he or she will never be forgotten. Placing the tags is Gold Star mother, Patty Schumacher, honoring her son, U.S. Marine Lance Corporal Victor 20 of Granite Bay, California, who was assigned to the 3rd Battalion Marines, Camp Pendleton, California, and died October 13, 2010, in the Sangamon District of Helmand Province, of wounds sustained when enemy forces attacked his unit with an improvised explosive device. The dogs, tags, Patty, our CEO, is placing on the rifle are the actual tags that Victor wore when he was killed in action. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our Gold Star families and military members are centered on the 50-yard line. We would like to acknowledge our new fallen heroes from a tragic osprey crash on Melville Island, Australia, during the Joint International Training in August of 2023. No family ever wants to become a Gold Star family, but it is a title they wear in their hearts forever. At this time, we will honor our new heroes by remembering to say their names. I will say their name individually and will direct you when to repeat their name. After, we will have a moment of silence, followed by the playing of taps. Corporal Spencer R. Cullen, 21, of Arlington, Virginia. Say, Spencer Cullen. Spencer Cullen.
Captain Eleanor B. LeBeau, 29, of Belleville, Illinois. Say, Eleanor LeBeau. Eleanor LeBeau. Major Tobin J. Lewis, 21, of Jefferson, Colorado. Say, Tobin Lewis. Captains, please get ready for the 50. We usually keep this up and let them flip the coin around it.
You want us to flip it right here, right?
That's fine.
Yeah, and this is Drew. He'll be your spokesman.
Drew, this is Ty. Guys, gather in the middle, shake hands. Drew, go ahead.
Our number 6, number 7, Guy Lisa. Number 10, Kyle Larson. And number 69, Matt Olin.
All right, fellas, keep it close so we don't have to scream. Welcome to the middle field. The fact that you guys are standing here today tells me you, my fellow officials, you are much more than players today. You are the captains, you are the leaders of your team. Everybody who came here today came to watch you play football. You do not want to watch us throw flags. All right? I ask the captain, please step forward. You have a problem to solve. Somebody who is your own player. When you solve it, we get to play football. Otherwise, I got to throw flags. Make sense? Provo, you came the furthest. This is Honor Bowl coin 2023. The head, State's Honor Bowl. Tail, pattern on the back side. I like to call it tail, perfect here. Heads. What do you call? Heads. Heads is call. We'll let it drop on the ground. And head, you won the toss. Provo's one in the third. You want the ball. Which goal do you want to defend?
You want to kick that way.
So kick that way. Okay. Blue in front of my partner, white in front of me.